By Councilor Steckley that Council does now hereby go into Committee of the Whole to discuss the following reports. Item number B, report number CAO-16-11, Memorandum of Understanding between the Town of Fort Erie and the Economic Development and Tourism Corporation for the delivery of economic development and tourism services.
We have a mover for that. I'm sorry, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We're now into Council and Committee report number CAO-16-2011. Do we have a mover for that? Now we've made a motion to go into closed session to discuss it. Now we're putting a motion on the floor. We're in corporate services. Actually, we're in Committee of the Whole. The report is here. I'm asking someone to move to put it on the floor. Motion is on the floor. Speakers to the motion. Speakers to the report. This is the memorandum of understanding, as you read, between the Town of Fort Erie and the Economic Development Corporation. It is a report that has been given to members of council because I'd asked for this at the end of the meeting when this notice of motion was prepared, that staff prepare something for council to even consider regarding the impacts of the notice of motion that was on the floor this evening. Are there any questions on this report? Councilor Cicero.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. If I could draw members of council's attention to page 73 out of 82 of our council package under the paragraph Fort Erie Live Racing Consortium, FLRC. If I could just get some additional information from staff. It reads, council is reminded that the EDTC is a member, parentheses, fundamental element of the Fort Erie Live Racing Consortium. If the EDTC no longer existed as a separate corporation, it is unlikely that the FLRC could continue operation in a fashion that is financially supported by the province. I can just get some information that went into determining the word unlikely. Why do we not see that playing out?
Ms. Salter or Mr. Tripp, who would like to answer this? Mr. Tripp.
Through your worship, as I guess council will pick up on the paragraph itself, we can't give an absolute answer in either direction. Just the knowledge, and I guess the knowledge of how the deal was structured in terms of the financial model, the financial support to the track entity, the operator, is premised on basically the composition of the FELRC, of which the EDTC is basically was the origin or the creator, fundamental part. In speaking in collaboration with the solicitor, nothing says that something similar can't be created. It's just how long would that take? There's no guarantee that it can be created, but it is clear that to go forward based on the discussions or the process to which that got us to this point, that it's not going to be the HBPA that's sort of the predominant figure. It's not going to be the town. It has to be something, well, in this case, it's something absolutely unique. It hadn't been accomplished in the province before. It's our opinion that we're giving council. It's not likely that it's going to, without the EDTC in its current form, that it's going to be allowed to continue to exist in that fashion. I honestly can't give council an answer as to whether something different can then be created.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. If I could also ask a question regarding page 74 of 82 under financial/staffing applications. Council must recognize that employment retention, paramedics, DMI, etc., and employment attraction, CMS, GreenSafe, etc., efforts are intense and ongoing. Should the EDTC be limited in its ability to deliver these services, there are no other town departments in a position, resource, or expertise to assume these responsibilities. Am I correct in that the reason we're putting the EDTC be limited in its ability is because they would be going through a wind-down year? Is that the reasoning for that paragraph?
Through your worship, again, there's only so much detail I can share in this forum. As is indicated in the report as well, there's a confidential memo that speaks to some of the costs. There's a lot of things, I guess, variables that we can't say with certainty at the time, but what I can say with certainty is yes, the year of 2012 will be very much focused on the wind down, the dissolution of the corporation, but also in all different forms, severance entitlements and basically the termination costs of the employees and all the different contractual obligations that go along with EDTC. I guess simpler put, the grant and the Green Investment to basically carrying forward operating at 12 with a similar grant that was provided in 11. It's going to be significantly invested in that wind down cost and the severance costs associated with all contractual termination costs associated with EDTC, which is going to impact the ability of them to provide the economic development function.
Councilor? Any further from anyone? Councilor Schuler?
Thank you, Worship. I guess I'll get the ball rolling here and maybe prod some of my cohorts to bring forward some logistics as to why they are looking at this. The merits of what this is proposing this evening has long-reaching ramifications for the town of Fort Erie. I guess I best describe it as catastrophic. Being fortunate enough to born and raised in this town and away for a small business period of time and then coming back to business. I've had the chance of working in this and serving in this community in many different capacities. I go back to the time when there's many councilors that are in the back that served under the structure of having an economic development officer within the confines of the town, working under the Municipal Act. And then we've had delegations this evening that pointed out the fallacy of what that was and how it wasn't really functional based on the way the premise and the guidelines that have to be incorporated. I can remember the days when I alluded to with one of the presenters, where we had an economic development officer hired by the town by day and sat on a sister as a councillor in a sister municipality. How foolish was that? Now, we have no control over what other people do other than time. You want to make a conditional appointment? Well, that's well. I was approached because of my background, and I alluded to that in my pecuniary interest. I have an extensive background in rules of order, to the point where I could play a little game this evening. When it does come for a vote, I will ask for a registered vote. And after a registered vote, I will ask that I be asked poll last. And then that gives me the opportunity that I could vote with the majority. And hopefully the majority is that they're against this. But if the majority is in favor of this, then I simply vote with the majority. Then, waiting for a period of time when two of the councilors who are adamant that this must go are not here, because I voted in favor of it, I can bring it back and we can 86 that. I don't think that's the way of doing it, but that option sits on the table under rules of order. I implore my colleagues this evening, please do not jump at this harshly. I understand your rationale, but to try to bring someone back within the confines so that you can control them is ludicrous from a business perspective. This is far-reaching. To simply approach the delegates, they approached us, they came this evening with great concerns. Hopefully we're listening. Yeah, you can point that the previous council wouldn't listen on issues and all that. That's history. What's before us this evening is what is before us now and what we do here. The ramifications, again, are catastrophic. And let me conclude, and I may make some remarks a little later on, trying to get in one ear. But with one saying, forgive them, for they know not what they do. But obviously, they think they know what they do. Thank you, Richard.
Please. Any other speakers? Councilor Hill and Councilor Lewis.